So understanding what is a monopolistic competition. Now in very simple terms, let's say we have examples of restaurants, supermarkets, or the same example of biscuit that we discussed before. So what happens in biscuits is you have numerous variety that is there. The items are not homogeneous. They are not exactly the same. There could be minor difference. It could be in terms of packaging. It could be in terms of taste. It could be in terms of ingredients that are there. But that minor change brings a product differentiation, and this idea of product differentiation is the key to monopolistic competition. So what happens in a monopolistic competition is there is first of all free entry and exit. In real scenario this is not the case, but yes, this is what is assumed as one of the major parameters of monopolistic competition, and the consumer usually have a preference for a given brand. So what would happen, I as a customer might want to go for brand A of a biscuit, you as a customer might want to go to brand B of biscuits. So what happens here is there is a product specification, a product differentiation that occurs, and usually the customers are tied to their own brands and their own products of interest that they have. But what happens over the time? Over the time what happens is, let's say there is a new product that comes in or enters into the market. What would happen might be, if there is a new product and it is charging less, a customer might tend to shift towards the new product that is into the market, and as a result this monopolistic competition drives in or attracts a new firm. So as the new firms enters into market, you would have the prices that would fall. So for me, who is producing, let's say, variety A, and my variety A is costing more than the new variety which is entered into the market, what would happen for me as a seller? I would have to reduce the price in order to compete with the new brand that is there. When I am reducing the price, what would happen? The profit margins would reduce, and when the profit margins would reduce, I can simply say that the demand curve that we understood would shift slowly and gradually towards the left. And that would be the reduction in the demand for a particular commodity or a particular item that is into the market. Now, if we try to understand through a simple example here, we have the normal demand curve through the demand curve, which is exactly what is the average revenue curve as we have discussed, and the marginal revenue. Along with the revenue curves, we also have plotted the cost curves here. So we have the average cost and the marginal cost. Now as you can see, till the time where you have the marginal revenue which is greater than the marginal cost, you would have the company deriving the profit, as it is very clear. But as soon as the marginal cost starts to increase, then the marginal revenue, what would happen is there would be a slow and gradual precedence from this profit that would be seen. So to have a long-term equilibrium, what is required is the intersection of the average cost and the average revenue. The point where the average cost and the revenue intersects is the long run normal profit. So till the time you have the costs which are less than the revenue, the company would keep on having a profit, and at the time the cost turns out to be more than the revenue that is being earned, what would happen is the profit would tend to diminish or would start to decline. So usually a monopolistic competition, when it is there, has in short run a supernormal profit. Why? As simple as that, because I am creating a brand, and that brand is one of the most popular brands among the people, and there is no other brand which has exactly the same product that is there. So what would happen? The customers would be inclined to purchase that brand, and as a result I would be generating a supernormal profit in short run. But as we discussed, what would happen in the long run? In the long run, there could be a substitute coming in, there could be a new variety entering in. Since in monopolistic competition the things are not homogeneous, what would happen? A simple differentiation, a little differentiation with a little price decline and mixed with marketing and advertisements could lead to the shift in people's behavior, and therefore in long run monopolistic competition does not have supernormal profits that is being seen. So what are the key features under monopolistic competition? I repeat again, you have many firms that are there. The items are not homogeneous. The product differentiation is there for sure, because each of the firm is producing a different, the same biscuits, but they have differentiation. As we said, the differentiation could be in any of the terms, and in short run they are able to make supernormal profit, but in long run they are able to make only normal profit, because you would have competing firms that would rise, and as a result you would have the prices that would decline. With the decline in the prices, the profit margin is set to decline. So that is one of the basic aspects. Now, what are the limitations of a monopolistic competition? This is very interesting. Under the limitations, we first say that some brands are better at marketing or better at brand differentiation. So let's say if I bring in a brand and I can differentiate it from others very well, there is a very high chance that that brand would be popular. But in case I'm not able to differentiate it and it's simply like any other biscuit that's there in the market, then definitely the chances for survival reduces. So that is very, very important. Also, new firms that are entering in, they are trying to seek close substitutes. So they are trying to keep an eye onto the products or the brands which have the highest market value, and they are trying to bring their commodities very similar to those, and as a result, in long run, as we said, there could be either a normal profit or even not a normal profit that would be seen. Also, in contrast to oligopoly, there is one major difference, which is that monopolistic competition assumes there is no barrier to entry and exit. So there is free entry and exit, but in real scenario, can you think this happens? Of course not, because there are some barriers. It could be government barriers, it could be any other barriers, but there are at least some barriers to entry and exit of good. There is no real economy which functions with no restrictions on entry or exit of the good and completely a free market economy. That's not practically possible. Okay, so that is one of the major limitations that we see. Also, product loyalty and brand loyalty is associated to it. So let's say I am associating myself to a brand, and I have a loyalty that if I am going to purchase a biscuit, it would be of this brand only, because this is, let's say, rich in proteins or has a lot of multifibers or multigrains that are seen. So might be I have a specific choice for it. So the customer is loyal towards the product, but again, the customer is only loyal till the time there is no major difference in the price that is seen. As soon as there is a major difference in the price or there is a barrier to entry, then what would happen is the choice would shift to the next substitute that would be there. And most of the industries that are there, they believe that monopolistic competition is definitely much more profitable in short run as compared to a oligopoly situation, which we would understand later.